Hello everybody, my name is Cone Dodger, and today I have something pretty exciting to show you. This is a game that I absolutely fell in love with a couple years ago, and that is Audiosurf. But this is Audiosurf 2, which I was starting to lose hope on because they announced it, I would say almost 2 years ago now. But I heard zero news about it, and this came out of nowhere that it got added to Steam under the early access kind of banner, which means you can pay to basically pre-order the game, but you will get access to the current build of the game. So it's pretty similar to what we're doing with, say, automation and the other games that I've been doing first impressions on. You get to play the game in its beta stage. It's not finished. You can see the menus, everything is very placeholder-ish. You know, it's not set in stone. But if you don't know anything about Audiosurf, basically what it is a puzzle slash. I hate to use the word racing, but it kind of is kind of a platformer game where it takes your music, creates a track based off of that, and then you get to compete on that track to get points to do tricks or, you know, complete puzzles and stuff like that on the tracks that are created by the song that you tell it to. And it's really awesome. It's a great way to enjoy music. You get almost a whole new appreciation of the music when you're playing this. In this version, different than Audiosurf 1, they've added a whole new element of wakeboarding to it. So basically it makes a wakeboarding track based off of your song. You get to do tricks, you get to, you know, try and get the most airtime, and you still have to hit what are basically referred to as the roadblocks or the point blocks that are on the track to increase your score. So what we're going to look at first is that basic wakeboard aspect of the game. You can see there's skins. The workshop has been added. That's something that Audiosurf 1 didn't have at all, was, you know, mods or anything like that. This time around they're going to let, you know, outside people create mods and skins and things like that for the game. There's a couple of skins that come with the beta here, and that is Neon and Sandstorm. Neon is kind of similar to what the first one looked like. Sandstorm is new. It's a little buggy. Some areas seem to be freaking out for me, but it looks really awesome. But we're going to start out in Neon for this one. And let's see. Like I said, this is just my, you know, music folder here. I've got a couple things that I want to do. Alright, I've got a couple songs picked out. A couple songs that you will probably remember if you ever watched anything else on my channel. I've used them frequently, but they'll give you a good feel for how basically you can use any kind of song you want. It'll work it out. Okay, so let's go ahead and load this one up. So it's processing the song now. Hopefully it's not crashing. Come on, you can do this. There we go. Alright, so it loads up the map here. You can kind of see these are the slow parts of the song, these are the fast parts of the song. And these air things, it's showing you where the jumps are going to be throughout this track. It'll make a little bit more sense when you see it though. So let's go ahead and jump on the track here. So we start out it kind of swoops in from a third person. That's not working out too great for some of the faster starting songs, because you need to be doing stuff right off the start, and that view doesn't work. So that's something I hope they address in the future. Slow starting song like this, it works out fine. So I'm using a mouse keyboard. Basically, I'm just using a mouse. Just move the mouse left to right to move left and right. And this is similar to how the previous game was. You just move left to right and collect the blocks. But you'll notice there's kind of these little bumps, little waves, as the jet skis up there are pulling you. And that will intensify as the song intensifies. left click to kind of squat down, and it puts you into this further back third-person perspective. And then you jump off the wakes, just like you would wakeboarding to do jumps. But you want to do that right when the intensity is about to change. And you can just basically the buttons on the mouse. That's a rather large jump. And this is the most basic mode available. You just have regular roadblocks. You can collect these to gain points. You gotta avoid the black ones, referred to as, well, they're black, but they're referred to as grays, because they will detract from your score. Like that one. I wasn't able to do a trick there, and it will tell you if you have enough airtime to do a trick or not. See, it says trick needed more airtime. So this mode, it seems like still enough airtime. The tricks are going to be, wow, I thought that was enough. Your main point gathering things to do along the track. So you can see the track is, you know, the way they work this out to make the track feel like it's part of the song and really relate to it is awesome. It's just as good as it was in the first one. One thing from the first one that I'm hoping they've addressed is that there was all these different modes. Obviously this was not included, but there was a bunch of different modes, and the point scores didn't really relate between the modes, but they all competed against each other. So there's a big scoreboard. There we go. There's a big scoreboard, and you know, it's pretty competitive, but just that one. Basically, there was one or two classes that you could get anywhere near the scoreboard on. And Audiosurf ended up being very popular. So the scoreboards were a mess by the, you know, 2 or 3 years into it being out. Alright, so this gives you a pretty good idea of what the basic wakeboarding looks like. Now we're going to move on to something a little bit more in-depth. Okay, so once you complete a song, this is the screen you get. This is where the scoreboard will be, I presume. I have seen some that were working, like there was a couple different names on there. Obviously, not very many people have played just yet. So, if it's not a real popular song, you might not see anybody. But it shows you your tricks and how many points you got. The trick points doesn't always seem to be working exactly, but the final score and raw points and everything seems to. So now let's go to mode, and we'll move on to the grid. The grid kind of combines the wakeboarding with the traditional Audiosurf point man kind of setup. You'll see what I mean when we get on a track. Let's go for Sandstorm this time. Okay, so this time I'm going to go with a punk rock song to show you it can handle that just fine, and it works just as well as a electronic song or anything. I mean, how crazy the song is, how crazy the track's going to be. So certain songs are better than others. Most rock songs seem to work pretty well as long as they have a pretty good tempo to them. Okay, so for this one, we're going to do the same thing. It's not going to show where to jump though. You got to figure that out on your own. And if you collect blocks without getting grays in there, collect blocks the more blocks you have in your bar, the more your multiplier is. So it'll make your tricks in blocks work more. There you kind of see what I mean about the start. I couldn't even see where I was going, but I was already hitting the grays. There's our multiplier. You want to try not to overfill it. See how I overfilled it there, so it resets. So you still get a higher points as far as the blocks go, but that's not really the main points-bearing thing here, like it used to be. So there we had a 3.3 modifier, so I got 3,000 points instead of 1,000 on that trick. So this is the sandstorm, basically texture pack, I guess is skin is what they're calling it. Trick opportunity. Fits. Ooh, barely pulled that one off. It fits the wakeboarding much better than the neon does. But overall, I still prefer the look of the neon, at least for maybe not the, or for the non-wakeboarding modes, which we'll look into later. That is the special trick, which is just click both buttons, but you gotta have a long jump to do it. So that was 20,000 points with the multiplier. So this kind of replaces, in the previous game, I used to have random bonus blocks throughout the track that you had to collect. And I always felt, you know, a little bit more luck-based and skill-based. So this kind of replaces that. No jump opportunities there. You gotta watch for these slow sections, because that's right when you'll get a good jump. Unfortunately, I didn't have a bonus there. Now we're building up a bonus. There wasn't enough jump there. Good bit of speed, but it will eventually time out if you fill it up. So it's just like the last one, there's a lot of strategy involved in making sure you hit the blocks at just the right moment. Yep, no jump there. But you can see it works just as fine with a rock song or anything like that as it does the electronic songs. The time the trick points worked. See, we had a really good one in there, that 20,000. That was with that nice multiplier on that special jump. So with that, you know, you're going to get a lot more competition, I think. There's a little bit more skill involved than just luck. Alright, let's move on. The wakeboarding has 2 more modes. Actually has 3 more modes. Pro, it basically just makes it harder to get jumps. So it's a little bit more difficult than the previous, than the grid. Elite makes it so, you know, in the other ones it won't let you do a trick unless you can do it. This one will let you try anything you want to try, so you can fail miserably. So we'll do a real quick song for that one. Alright, so now there's no restrictions. It will let you try any trick you think you can try. It's a pretty fast song, so these roadblocks are going to be hard to avoid. I think there'll be a jump right after here. See, I didn't have enough air to complete that one, so it freezes you for a few seconds. There we go. until you can complete, freezes you for a few seconds, and you will hit anything in the track that's in the way while that's going on. But it seems like, unlike last time, you're not competing against the other modes, you're only competing against this mode, which is way better. So it'd definitely be very difficult to compete against the regular wakeboarding with this added difficulty. Doesn't seem like your score is increased per difficulty. But it seems like maybe you can do more tricks. I mean, it restricts you more than needed in regular mode. No jumps? Come on. 3-0. Alright, there's a slow section coming up here soon. There we go. Now we gotta try and keep this thing up. Not working out. I might get a little bit of one. Yeah, 1.5. Better than nothing. Oh, that was close. I don't think I had any multiplayer in that one, though. Alright. So that's the wakeboarding ones. There's one more that's, I'll be honest, it's not, I think maybe they're still working on it, but it's called Puzzle. And I've tried it a couple times and I didn't get too much enjoyment out of it. Maybe I wasn't doing it right, or wasn't doing very good at it, but there is wakeboard puzzle. Yeah, basically I have to combine the blocks. Very difficult. Maybe I'll show that in another video later on when I get a little better at it. But for now, I want to show you that the mono mode is still alive and kicking, because that was basically everybody's favorite in the previous one. We'll go back to Neon. Let me pick a good song here. Alrighty, so this is mono mode. You see there's no airtime or anything like that. You can see the map. The map looks a little different. This one looks like it's going to be a pretty bumpy, but not overly fast course. So basically for this one, it's just a matter of collecting the blocks and missing all the grays. So no more wakeboarding, no more jet skis pulling you along or whatever. You're just out on your own. One thing that's different this time versus last time is you get this little guy. If you hold down one of the mouse buttons, this is going to be quicker than I thought. That little extra ship will collect blocks you're not around if you're not hitting grays. If you hit grays, I think it disappears. At least that's what they're leading me to believe. But it gets you in trouble. Oops, there was a gray. There's 2 grays. So those are going to take away from your score, and they clog up your board. That was almost a full. As you can see by the points up above, you get more points the bigger combo you can make. So you want to fill the board and make it take as long as, as possible, because the longer you go, the higher the multiplier. See, this little guy will collect all those, but it makes you have to pay even more attention because you gotta be watching all 3 lanes at once because it can grab a ton of grays while you're at it. I don't know how I feel about that though. It seems a little cheaty, to be honest. I wish it was harder to get. Maybe like you get it if you go 30 seconds without a gray or something like that. Would make that feel a little less, or would make it feel like you have to work for that, I guess. Whoa, I missed a bunch of those. And hit a bunch of those. But see, this is a nice part about getting early access and playing it, you know, when it's not 2 years old. Oh man, that's a ton. I bet y'all get high score. Oops. Luckily, it's not working exactly like the old. It used to be if you overfilled like that with a gray, it would end the game. It would end the song, and that would be it. You'd have to start over. It doesn't seem like it's working that way. Graphically, this is just as good as the original. It's not really any better. It's a little different. The way the track is represented is different. The lanes are a little less obvious, which I kind of like. It makes it feel a little bit more smooth. But it's got a similar art style to the previous one, which I really enjoyed. Alrighty, so, yep, top score. Go for it. Oh, good. Now, see, that's another thing you've got to watch out for. If your music isn't labeled or named correctly, you won't be competing against the correct, song per se. So make sure you have it labeled name and then artist, and leave it just like that, so that you can compete against people that are actually playing that song. Otherwise, sure, you might be on top of the board, but you're the only one that's played that quote-unquote song. That's just the way it works. So that's not everything there is to see here. There are other modes, like Pusher is back. Double Vision is back, where you can have 2 people at the same computer do co-op. I really, really hope that they introduce it to where you can do multiplayer co-op. That would be awesome. Like 2 people, different computers co-op. I think that would be a whole lot of fun, and hopefully they can include that. But I think that's going to do it for today's little first impressions of the game. I will be doing more videos on it as it develops. Again, it is one of my favorite titles, and if the early progress of this is any indication of what they have in store, then the finished product should be really awesome. So I can't wait for that. But until next time, my name's Dodger, and thanks for watching.